Before the Ford F-150 became America's best-selling truck, the country was changing. More people were moving to the suburbs, businesses were growing, and workers needed vehicles that could do more than just carry cargo. They needed something strong, reliable, and comfortable enough for everyday life. Ford saw this opportunity and decided to build a truck that could handle almost anything. What happened next would change the American automotive industry forever. When the Ford F-150 was introduced in 1975, nobody expected it to become a legend. At first, it was simply a hard-working truck built for farmers, construction workers, and small business owners. But Ford engineers focused on one important goal: creating a truck that people could trust for years. That decision helped the F-150 stand out from its competitors. But what if I told you that one decision made by Ford changed the truck industry forever? We'll cover that story in the next video. Subscribe and stay tuned. By the early 1970s, Ford already had a successful truck lineup. Models like the F-100 were popular among workers, farmers, and business owners across America. However, the automotive industry was changing rapidly. New government regulations were being introduced, fuel prices were rising, and customers were expecting more from their vehicles. People no longer wanted a truck that could only work hard. They wanted a truck that could also be comfortable enough for everyday driving. Ford engineers understood that the future of pickup trucks was about more than strength. It was about creating a vehicle that could balance power, durability, and comfort. As a result, Ford introduced the F-150 in 1975. At first glance, it looked similar to other trucks of its time, but underneath, it was different. The F-150 was designed to carry heavier loads while complying with new regulations. It offered a stronger chassis, improved suspension, and greater capability than many of its competitors. Ford wasn't trying to create just another truck. They were creating a truck for the future. Many people believed it would simply be another model in Ford's lineup. But within a few years, the F-150 began attracting attention all across America. Farmers appreciated its toughness. Construction workers trusted its durability. Small business owners loved its practicality. Without realizing it, Ford had created something special. The company had built a truck that appealed to almost everyone, and that was only the beginning. By the late 1970s, the Ford F-150 was becoming more than just another pickup truck. People across America were beginning to realize that this vehicle could do almost everything. It was strong enough for hard work, comfortable enough for daily driving, and reliable enough to last for many years. Ford continued improving the F-150 with every new generation. Better engines, stronger frames, improved safety features, and more comfortable interiors made the truck even more attractive. Instead of building one truck for everyone, Ford created different versions to fit different lifestyles. Farmers trusted it to work long hours in the fields. Construction workers relied on it to carry heavy equipment. Families used it for road trips and outdoor adventures. Small business owners depended on it every single day. This flexibility became one of the biggest reasons behind its incredible success. Many owners kept their trucks for hundreds of thousands of miles. Some even passed them down to the next generation. That level of trust is something very few vehicles ever achieve. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We have many more fascinating stories about the Ford F-150 coming soon, including hidden facts, rare models, and the biggest moments in its history. As the years passed, the Ford F-150 became much more than a pickup truck. It became a symbol of hard work, freedom, and the American way of life. Whether on construction sites, farms, highways, or mountain trails, the F-150 proved it belonged everywhere. The success of the Ford F-150 wasn't an accident. It was the result of decades of continuous improvement. One of the biggest reasons behind its popularity is the wide range of engine options. Over the years, Ford offered V6 engines, powerful V8 engines, and later introduced the EcoBoost turbocharged engines. This allowed customers to choose the perfect truck for their own needs. Another important reason is towing capacity. Depending on the model and engine, modern Ford F-150 trucks can tow more than 13,000 pounds. That's enough to pull large boats, campers, work trailers, and heavy construction equipment. The F-150 also became one of the first pickup trucks to introduce advanced technology. Features like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, 360-degree cameras, and Pro Power Onboard transformed the truck into a mobile workplace. In 2015, Ford made one of its boldest decisions. The company replaced the traditional steel body with a high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy body. This reduced the truck's weight while improving fuel efficiency and overall performance. At first, many people criticized the decision. However, over time, it proved to be one of the smartest engineering choices Ford had ever made. Today, the Ford F-150 continues to lead the American truck market because it constantly evolves without losing the qualities that made it famous: durability, capability, and reliability. In the next episode, we'll take a closer look at one of the most exciting versions ever built, the Ford F-150 Raptor. For nearly 50 years, the Ford F-150 has remained one of the most recognizable vehicles in America. Millions of people have owned one. Millions more dream of owning one. Very few vehicles survive for decades while staying at the top of their category. The Ford F-150 did exactly that. It adapted to changing technology, it adapted to changing customer needs, and it adapted to an entirely new generation of drivers. Today, whether you visit a farm in Texas, a construction site in New York, a forest in Colorado, or a small town in Alaska, there's a good chance you'll find a Ford F-150. That is why many people don't simply call it a truck, they call it an American icon. But this is only the beginning of our journey. Because the Ford F-150 has an even more fascinating story waiting to be told. In our next episode, we'll explore one of the most legendary pickup trucks ever created, the Ford F-150 Raptor. Why was it built? Why is it so different from a regular F-150? And why do so many people consider it the king of off-road trucks? We'll answer all of those questions in the next video. If you enjoyed today's documentary, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss the next chapter of the Ford F-150 story. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.